And just like that, the weekend is gone. But it's not all bad news because the bald-headed boy Scribble is here to help you get your red box in today's Galactic Challenge. Let's do this. Today on Galactically Challenged with Scribble, we are on Hoth versus the Bounty Hunters, that beautiful Bosk lead, and we have bonuses for Sith, which means this should be an absolute breeze. The global modifier is Frigid Expanse, which feels like my cold heart. Essentially, every time we take a turn, we gain a stack of Frostbite. If Frostbite hits 10, then the unit will be defeated, which is a little bit unfortunate. We do get given the event ability Thermal Regulate, which lets us remove 2 stacks of Frostbite from our characters. So it's about managing that Frostbite. Now, the Frostbite does also have some negative side effects. It reduces our crit chance, our potency, our speed, so it's not particularly pleasant. Now, we have bonuses, like I said, for Sith, and that is going to be Grim Machinations, which essentially is going to be ramping up our Sith's stats whenever our allies die, which is nice, but also when we defeat an enemy, our damage output is going to increase, and the damage that we get dealt will be decreased. It's quite useful. The enemy's got Thrill of the Hunt, which is an incredibly annoying modifier, which stacks up ridiculous levels of true defense, which means they just reduce all the damage they're taken until we've chipped away. It's kind of like Stone Skin from the old Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition. Interesting. Okay, so what are the feats? Well, the feats are thus: we need to win with a full team of Sith, we also need to win with 1 Lightside and 1 Darkside character surviving, and then we need to complete with an undersized squad. This means, in essence, that we must do at least 2 battles in order to get this done. So let's first tackle the Sith. Now, in my opinion, and this is without using any Galactic Legends, if you have Galactic Legends, there are Sith units like Sith Eternal and Lord Vader. I know he doesn't really have a whole lot of benefits with his Sith compatriots, but it will still get the job done. So if you are not using Galactic Legends, or if you do not have them, my advice to you is to go with a Traya team. So I will go in with a Traya lead. I'll throw in Bastila Shan Fallen because she's very good. We will take in our good man Scion, our good man Nihilus, and our other bald-headed compatriot, that would be Malak. Malak is not necessary. You could throw in Darth Talon. You probably don't even need Bastila Shan Fallen, essentially. Okay, this is the team that I like to run. And here we have it, ladies and gentlebeans. All we're really going to do is we're going to slowly work down the stacks of true defense off Bosk. I don't like to use the Isolate right at the start because I actually like to let Nihilus use his Life Drain first, which decreases all of his cooldowns and increases enemy cooldowns, and then we place the Isolate targeting Bosky Poo. That's to make sure that he doesn't continually taunt, which is a little bit frustrating. Now, you'll see as I'm going through here, we isolate Bosk, targeting Nihilus, reducing his cooldowns so that he can get through to that Annihilate. So you'd be remiss to think that you should use your first Annihilate on Bosk. In my opinion, it's much better to use your first Annihilate on one of the Bounty Hunter Mandalorian characters. In my choice, I believe I went straight after OG Mando, so in case they do hit contract, he's not able to just disintegrate one of my characters. I actually leave Bosk till last. Because he's isolated, he can't really do anything. So the threats are now Boba and Jango Fett, that father-son duo that we all love to love. Now, Grief is a little bit annoying, but if you can keep him feared, it's really not so bad. I'm just trying to manage all my stacks of Frostbite as I'm going along and using the special abilities to increase cooldowns and get round to Annihilate. It's just a systematic case of, I'm gonna kill this Bounty Hunter, then this Bounty Hunter, then this Bounty Hunter. Generally speaking, the ones that have got Bounty Hunters resolved, they would normally revive, but of course you cannot revive from Annihilate if you have the Omega on it. I don't even think it's the Zeta, I think it's actually an Omega ability to prevent revives, which, truth be told, is actually a very powerful ability for just a flat Omega. So here we are slowly working away on Bosk. I'm only hitting him really because we know we're going to be annihilating the rest. I like to time my isolates to reduce the cooldowns on Nihilus when it's optimal. So you can see here we've got another Annihilate, boop. Goodbye. They've actually hit contract. You can see Jango Fett there is in damage immunity. It might have made more sense for me to actually annihilate Jango Fett, but ultimately I don't think it matters too much. Get that ability block on him. We're doing okay as far as managing the stacks of Frostbite as well, so we could probably have used Thingamabob there. Oh, we had life drain available. See, I was thinking at the time. So we've life drained, we've lost Scion. Honestly, it doesn't matter. You don't need to survive with all characters to make this work. We still have an incredibly tanky individual known as Malik that's going to keep us alive. Once again, keep that isolate up there on our good boy Bosk and reduce the cooldowns on Nihilus. We're just going to be looping those turns continually. Again, managing those stacks of Frostbite. Life Drain here will completely reset our Annihilate, and we'll go in for a third Annihilate, and I think it's probably going to be against Jango Fett. And at this point, there's not a whole lot that the enemy team can actually do. Goodbye, Jango Fett. Nice knowing you, buddy. I would like to have your armor if at all possible. Grief is being a little bit frustrating, but he's not really going to prove too difficult for us. The fact that he actually had Retribution there meant he counterattacked, and because of Treya's leadership, it meant he took significant amounts of max health damage, which was rather nice. So here we go. Isolate once again on Grief, and then we nearly actually lost Nihilus there to the Frostbite, so I'm just managing those cooldowns, even though we don't need to. Looks like Grief himself is actually going to die from Frostbite by the looks of things. Oh, he would have done, but we just triggered the stagger on him, completely resetting his turns. So I'm just managing Frostbite here across the team, just waiting for an opportunity to get rid of Grief. Goodness Grief, will you just give it up already? There we go. Beautiful. So we still need to win with a short man and win with one light side and one dark side character surviving. I'm personally going for a Gas 5-0 first team here with Fives, Rex, and Malik. Malik is just a very useful, survivable dark side character. Alright, so I'm using Gas leadership because it does prevent revives, and that will help, avoid all the irritating factors of all these Mandalorian bounty hunters over here. And Rex and Fives are just a really good combination of characters to use that will give us a pseudo-annihilate with Rexlate coming out of Captain Rex over there, or not Captain Rex, OG Rex, I should call him. Once again, I'm just kind of focusing the damage on Bosk. One thing to note, if you are going to be using Rex, his Annihilate does damage, his aerial advantage, that ability does damage, which scales based on the number of turns that your 501st have taken, right? However, that damage can be reduced by the enemy's true defense. So before you actually go ahead and use it, you do want to whittle away at those stacks of the enemy's true defense. Otherwise, it just won't deal any damage. Now, there will be a little bit of RNG around who does the enemy attack. Do they actually drop gas very quickly? Bosk's teams tend to try and trigger contract as fast as possible, which means the characters that can ignore taunt, which is going to be OG Mando, Jango, and Boba Fett whilst they have Bounty Hunter to resolve, will constantly be trying to attack Rex on their turn. Otherwise, they'll either attack Malik if he is taunting, or Gas if he is taunting. So once again, I'm trying to reduce those stacks of true defense. You can see OG Mando has got 2 stacks left. I'm trying to get rid of him first. He wants to be my first Annihilate target, simply because he does have his own Disintegrate. So bye-bye, and because it's Gas lead, he obviously cannot revive. Super smashing great. The rest of it is still about trying to manage that stack of Frostbite on all of our characters. Fives and Rex doing a real good job of calling to assist and generating additional TM for us. Essentially now, whenever we use the Annihilate ability from our Rex, the aerial advantage, we will most likely be one-tapping every enemy. Now, they do have a couple of the bounty hunters that still have a couple of stacks of true defense, so I want to make sure that the ones that I use the Annihilate on, you can see Jango there has 4 stacks, the ones that I use the Annihilate on should be the ones with the lowest stacks of true defense. Eventually, it shouldn't matter, because the amount of turns that our 501st have taken is going to ramp so high that the percentile damage we deal from aerial advantage is going to be like sky high, pun fully intended there. So I think Jango is pretty much prepped. Boba Fett over there still has quite a lot of stacks. You can see he's got 5, but Jango has none. So goodbye, Jango. I think did that do like 800,000 damage? That's not too shabby. And the good thing about Gas as well, because he always uses 2 abilities when he attacks, you can use the Thermal Regulate ability and he'll still go out and get an extra attack in. I always thought that was quite nice. Now, they are going to drop our good boy Gas in a moment, and that's where it gets just a little bit hairy, because they could go ahead and try to kill Rex, but, provided Fives is alive, he will get that sacrifice. There can be some shenaniganry, say if Boba Fett was to use his Execute, potentially, that could put the heal immunity on Rex, and you could trigger the sacrifice from Fives and kill Rex immediately, but that's unlikely to happen, I would say. So, Boba Fett, I believe, is prepped. We've got one more turn until we get another aerial advantage coming out of our boy Rex. That will see him off nicely. Let's go ahead and use that now. Goodbye, Boba. and then we just need to deal with Bosk and with Grief once he stops hiding like a little yellow-bellied scoundrel guy. That's the one. It's surprising just how survivable this enemy team is. That Bosk just flat out refuses to die. He's just like, no, I'm just going to recover all of the health and protection every single turn, no matter how many armor shreds you get on me. Fortunately, that's why we have massive burst damage coming out of our OG Rex here with his Rexolate. And the turn generation is actually pretty quick, I would say. So once again, managing those stacks of Thermal Regulate, we don't want Frostbite rather. Bosk died to his own Frostbite, and then we get the kill. We didn't lose a unit, we didn't even trigger Sacrifice. Really not so bad. And finally, I might as well show you a win with a GL. This is once again doing Short Man, Lightside, Darkside, okay? So I'm using C because C is a very easy person to try and solo with. I'm taking in Hermit Yoda because he's a frequently stealthing character that will just pass additional buffs through the use of Master's Training, which does actually benefit C, gives him 25% additional offense and defense and stuff like that, which is nice. I've thrown in Armorer just in case I could get that armor off, but honestly, she dies pretty quickly and I'm not that fussed about using it. So Watt over there places the weapons tech, tank tech, sorry, on C, and I'm going to link Bosk, and I think I link Boba Fett, truth be told. I'm linking Bosk just because when he gets that taunt up, he also gets Frenzy, which means, you know, people use special abilities, he takes a bonus turn. That's just going to supercharge the pace at which we can actually hit our ult and then, you know, blow everybody up. So I placed weapons tech on Hermit Yoda just to give him a little bit more speed. I get an armor shred out on Bosk because I want to get to triple stacks of Beskar armor on C. Unfortunately, like I said, they kind of focus down that armor pretty quickly, so it doesn't really end up paying off. You could probably take in anybody else, truth be told. Even a Sith ally to boost C's stats would work. And then they're going after Watt because, you know, they're deceived, so they can't target C, and Hermit Yoda is hiding. So again, we want to make sure, keep people alive. I just decide immediately to go into ult. Quite often, I won't go into ult this quickly because I want to absorb more mastery or raise more mastery with those linked characters. But I decided, you know what, let's just start cleaning house. So we go into our ultimate, Hermit Yoda is out of hiding, we destroy 2 characters. When you use Master's Training, Hermit Yoda will go back into stealth, which means he can't be targeted, and that makes life a little bit easier. So I link Grief here just because he stealths, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with a stealth Retribution Grief. And then I link Jango Fett because I feel like he is the more lethal of the remaining pair of Mandalorians. They're not going to be able to trigger their contract because they cannot hit Hermit Yoda. He's hiding under stealth. So the chances of them triggering contract are basically 0. We take lots of turns, use Hermit Yoda to use Thermal Regulate on C to reduce his stacks of Frostbite, keep him nice and healthy, and then just blap. And we're just left to OG Mando, hide Hermit Yoda. Job's a good one. Oof, 140k damage. That wasn't too bad for a basic. Let's keep on going. Boop. And big heal coming out of Hermit Yoda, and then just a basic to finish it off. Booyah, ladies and gentlemen of the tribe. That was a nice, easy Galactic challenge to start our week, don't you think? Hopefully this video was useful to you. If it was, please take a moment and hit that like button. We're about 150 subscribers away from hitting a magical 10k subs, so if you could do me the honor, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.